Habits come out of regular practices, like our daily routines and what's easiest. We don't always realize the causes or their long-standing effect. Some seemingly harmless habits can be so bad for your brain and mental health that they can even cause lasting brain damage. Do you do things that are, in essence, harming you? Do you know if some of your daily routines, regular habits, and go-to coping mechanisms might actually be hurting you? Hello everyone, and welcome to Highly Successful You. Today, we're going to talk about the 10 bad habits that damage your brain. Sometimes bad habits take over, and we don't even realize it. It starts with one day and can roll into a regular occurrence. It can become part of your everyday, and some bad habits are much worse than anyone realizes. We'll be looking at 10 of the worst habits that can hurt your brain and what makes them so bad in the first place. You might have one of these, but you also might have more of them than you realize. Watch to the end to see how you can turn some of your unwittingly self-destructive behavior around. If you're excited for today's video, make sure to hit that like button. So with that, let's get right into it. Number 1. Covering your head while sleeping. To start things off, you might not realize how dangerous sleeping with your head covered can be. It can lead to an increase in the concentration of carbon dioxide that you're taking in and eventually reduce your blood's oxygenation. If your oxygen supply is poor, your brain's functioning capacity reduces. This can lead to feelings of breathlessness and suffocation, but it can cause further issues through sleep deprivation, fatigue, and drowsiness. 2. High levels of screen time. These days, more and more people are replacing face-to-face interactions with digital stand-ins. We are, as people, spending more time online than ever before. Screens of all kinds have the same effect on the brain, as it causes a sort of mental fog and cognitive disconnect. A research study once found that just 10 minutes a day of face-to-face conversation can improve memory and cognition in the same way that long periods of non-stop screen time can deteriorate it. Screens can also hurt your eyes, ears, neck, shoulders, arms, and wrists and interact with your sleep schedule over time. Excessive levels of screen time can be associated with various issues, especially in children and young adults. Obesity, mood swings, aggressive behavior, attention disorders, and cognitive deterioration. Number 3. Working while sick. It's hard to find time to recuperate when you're sick. Being overworked can cause you to fall ill, but when you're ill, you must take time off work to repair your body. If you continue to work yourself to the degree you were before, your brain takes a dramatic hit, which only adds to the overall stress. The brain and body are already working exceedingly hard to cope with this illness, but working on a sick day only adds to the burden, making it more challenging to push through and get better. Number 4. Sitting for too long. As it turns out, sitting around isn't just a physical risk, but also a neurological risk. Sitting for long, extended periods can be one of the worst things a person can do for their health, as people who are more sedentary have to thin in their brain regions, especially ones linked directly to memory. Sedentary behavior can be, in part, related to the brain structure, including medial temporal lobe thickness. The worst part about this is that they find that even physical activity at higher levels isn't enough to counteract the long-standing sedentary behavior. Number 5. Smoking. No one is out there claiming smoking is a good habit, but this is potentially one of the most dangerous habits someone can indulge in. It can cause lung or heart diseases and shrink cells in the brain. This shrinkage can lead to diseases like dementia, Alzheimer's, and even death. Excessive smoking, for example, can lead to neuroinflammation linked to an autoimmune disorder called multiple sclerosis, which can be potentially disabling as it affects the brain and the spinal cord. 6. Improper hydration. One piece of advice people often take advantage of is to stay hydrated. The thing is, this is good for your body overall, especially for your brain. If you go a few hours during intense activity in the heat without replenishing your fluids, this can severely affect your ability to concentrate. One study showed that people who took tests while dehydrated struggled to keep their attention when tested doing detailed-oriented or monotonous tasks. Despite this, most people don't get enough water in their day. Problem-solving and coordination activities become more difficult for those being studied. However, those who drink too much water suffer from similar issues. Those who drink too much often deal with issues such as brain swelling or even, in extreme cases, seizures. It's important to hydrate at an average amount, and confusion or dizziness may indicate that your body needs to balance its liquid levels to keep healthy. Number 7. Overeating. Eating too much can be just as bad as not eating enough. We, as people, tend to overeat when the brain isn't functioning right. However, overeating is one of those dangerous habits that can cause a certain amount of brain damage. You might not think about the extra snacks along the way, but they can lead to the accumulation of cholesterol plaques and overall thickening of blood vessels in the brain, which both cause a reduction of blood supply to brain cells. This can cause irreparable damage to the functions of your brain. This damage often correlates with higher rates of Alzheimer's disease and obesity, anxiety, depression, and other psychological problems. 8. Multitasking. You've probably heard of multitasking, doing more than one thing at a time, like reading an article and listening to a podcast, or splitting your focus between your job and social media. Multitasking is bad for your productivity and can rewire your brain and make you much less effective over time. Our brains aren't inherently wired to multitask, as researchers have found. Instead of doing multiple things at once, what your brain is doing is switching between various tasks rapidly, causing a cognitive cost between functions. This increases your stress hormones, called cortisol, as well as adrenaline. When mixed together, cortisol and adrenaline can overstimulate your brain and cause scrambled thinking or mental fog. 9. Overconsumption of caffeine. The thing is, we all drink a little caffeine each day, whether it's through a morning coffee, a quick energy drink, or energy shots to keep you going through the day. Caffeine affects the central nervous system in numerous ways, mainly affecting your adenosine receptors, which promote sleep. Usually, through a typical day, these adenosine levels accumulate throughout the day, making you tired over time. Caffeine tricks the body because of its similarities to adenosine. When caffeine is present in the brain, it competes with adenosine to bind the same receptors. However, it doesn't slow the firing of your neurons the way adenosine does. It prevents this natural reaction and slows down your neural activity over time. This can cause issues with your brain, deprive you of much needed sleep, and generate more points. Number 10. Not sleeping properly/enough. Many people struggle to get a good night's sleep, but a lack of sleep can hinder your brain's ability to perform correctly. Sleep deprivation might be behind you if you've ever lost your way home or forgotten your keys somewhere with no recollection of where. It can lead to cognitive issues over time. Without enough sleep, brain cells have been known to die off, causing it to become more challenging to remember things. Any behaviors that inhibit your natural sleep schedule can be just as harmful and cause issues down the line. 7 hours is the recommended amount of sleep for the average adult, giving you enough time to recuperate, recharge, and repair. Our brains need many different things to keep our bodies running and our minds sharp. If we let these terrible habits take us over, it can cause a loss of brain cells and cognitive ability and only worsen with time. If you want to stay sharp, even into old age, ensure you're taking care to work your brain regularly. Feed it the nutrients it needs and get regular, consistent sleep. It might seem overwhelming initially, but just evaluating our habits regularly and catching them before they get too bad is a good way to take your health by the reins. And that brings us to the end of today's video. Are there any thoughts you'd like to share? Drop them down in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video and you want to hear from us again, be sure to hit the subscribe button before you go. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.